Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day today and I hope you're ready for what we're going to read today. It's going to be such a fun episode and I hope you're excited. Am I the a-hole for banning my mother-in-law from my house and all future events because of her prank? My mother-in-law recently came to meet my 6-month-old son. In the past, we have not had a good relationship and we have a lot of problems with her husband Evan, as he's something of a white knight and has been awful to my husband and me. Evan views me like crap on the bottom of his shoes, and I really don't want him to come over, but I get they're a couple and we're always telling her that she can't exclude me. Evan's a germaphobe and quite honestly a snob, so mother-in-law came over with Evan and his 2 kids who he had for the summer. I did see her whispering with her stepkids, but I didn't think much of it. We sat down and I thought everything was going well, but mother-in-law's stepkids kept looking at each other and laughing. Finally, her stepson Blake burst out laughing and told mother-in-law to tell Evan what they did to his coffee. Mother-in-law just laughed and didn't want to tell him, so his daughter Lily finally told him that they put my breast milk in it. What? I saw red. I'm not a joke. I work hard to feed my son, and it isn't a joke. My husband is great about standing up to her, but even he burst out laughing. Evan seemed like he was about to puke and then slammed the coffee down. He kept on making a big deal about how gross it was. Mother-in-law told him that it wasn't that gross. She said that she accidentally squirted her ex with hers, and even he wasn't this much of a baby. Evan got mad and said, "Yeah, yours, not hers." Oh no. I blew up that I'm not a joke and I won't be laughed at. I told her to get the F out, which really seemed to shock her. I said I was serious and she'll never step foot in my house again. No birthdays, no holidays, nothing. Mother-in-law said they didn't even do anything to me and called me dramatic. On the way out, I heard mother-in-law say, "Okay, get over it, love me again." And Evan said, "Hers? Seriously, hers?" So yeah, basically it wasn't the breast milk that upset him, it was me. My husband did calm me down and validate my feelings, but then he said that he still feels I overreacted. No, I don't feel like you overreacted, OP. They sound awful. They don't sound like the sort of people you want to have in your house anyway, so who cares? And Evan 100% does sound like a giant baby. Imagine going into somebody else's house and acting like that, acting the way that Evan did, but also everybody else too. Nah, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. They sound insufferable, to be honest. And how your mother-in-law was like, "Oh, okay, get over it, love me again." You don't have to love her, OP. Like, ever. Yeah, I wouldn't want them at my house either. I feel like you did the right thing, OP. The top comment says, "Not the a-hole, your husband might need some milk though. He obviously has a calcium deficiency in his spine." Yeah, this comment, "Not the a-hole, these people sound awful." Yeah, pretty much. And also, that's not really funny either. Like, oh, ha ha. And the fact that your husband burst out laughing too. Yeah, there's a comment that says, "You're the only one that isn't the a-hole." And this comment too, "Wow, I don't see how taking food from a baby without the mother's consent like this is funny. What are they even doing in your fridge?" I think you're right about all of them, and they are having some bizarre conversations about you. They really have nothing but disdain for you and your baby to do something like this. Editor add, "Of course you would not be the a-hole." And what did your husband do after he laughed? Yeah, no, they suck, OP, and you definitely don't need them. Next one's called, "Am I the a-hole for exposing my cheating girlfriend at her birthday party?" Okay, this one's going to be interesting. I, 27 male, have been with my girlfriend Sarah, 26 female, for 3 years. All of this time I thought things were going great between us. We'd already talked about moving in together and making our relationship formal. You know, an engagement and wedding, all that was planned. However, a few months ago she started to show some weird character unlike hers, like coming home late and drunk and being secretive with her phone and making excuses to avoid spending time together. For like a week I tried to study and get to know where all of this was coming from, and to make it worse I started to think that I was the problem for why she was behaving like that. With time my gut feeling kept on nagging me, so I decided to do some investigating just to seek the truth. One night while she was drunk asleep, I went on her phone and I checked her chats with her best friend, because that's where all the secrets are. I was shocked to find out that she was having an affair with one of my boys. I confronted her about it and she denied everything. Even when I showed her the messages, she said they were only joking around and that I was being paranoid. I didn't buy it and I pushed further. So last week was her birthday party. Everybody was invited, including my boy. I said to myself I could keep hurting and pretending I was okay, but after the eating and dancing it was time to talk. I decided to talk last as I wanted to hear how everybody praised our relationship and then proved them wrong. When it was my turn I talked about trust and loyalty, and then I dropped the bombshell. I let everybody know that she was cheating and even sent the messages to her birthday group so everybody could see. Everybody was shocked while she felt embarrassed and ran out crying. Her family and friends came at me for humiliating her on her precious day. I left shortly after feeling a mix of anger and relief. Now my phone keeps on getting notifications that are from her friends calling me all sorts of names, but I feel like she deserved it for betraying my trust. So am I the a-hole for exposing my cheating girlfriend at her birthday party? To be honest, OP, not really. Yeah, the top comment, I believe in being the bigger person, but like sometimes it'd be like, who gives a damn about being the bigger person, so I'm torn. She deserved it. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. I'm of the mindset that people frequently only change if they either have the self-reflective nature to look at their own actions with an unbiased mindset, or if they receive a shock to their system significant enough to teach them a solid lesson. You did your ex a favour really, because she'll remember how her own unfaithful actions led to her humiliation. Hopefully with some luck the next guy to come along will be luckier and not get cheated on due to this lesson, if for no other reason than she realises the consequences make it not worth it. Yeah, but also the comment under that too. Unfortunately, since her family and friends were making him out to be the bad guy for exposing her cheating, I'm not sure that she'll learn her lesson here, but I 100% agree with exposing the bad behaviour. The one doing the behaviour doesn't get to dictate when and where it gets exposed, not the a-hole. And also the comment under that, not the a-hole, cheaters deserve this kind of treatment. And the comment under that says, not the a-hole, she can betray your trust and potentially destroy who you are. I was cheated on and it broke me, so I know how bad it can make a person feel, but you can't embarrass her by telling people that she is a cheater. In my opinion, all cheaters should be publicly shamed. People need to evaluate their priorities, dude, not the a-hole. Yeah, what was that saying that we read the other day about like a cactus of consequences hanging over your head? Like, yeah, maybe don't cheat on people, you know? The next one that we're going to read is called, am I the a-hole for telling my husband that he shouldn't be upset when my daughter said that her uncle would be the one to walk her down the aisle on her wedding day? I, female 46, got pregnant with my daughter Sarah, female 26, when I was in college. My parents and my then boyfriend's parents pushed us to marry, which we did. My late husband unfortunately passed away a week after our daughter's second birthday because of a heart complication that we didn't even know that he had. It was a very hard time for me and I went through a very bad depression. 4 years later, I met my now husband Robert, male 46, on a blind date that was set up by a friend. He was one of my best friend's cousins. We hit it off and we got married a year after. Even when we were dating, he was very hands-on with my daughter, and it didn't take too long for my daughter to call him Papa. Even until we got married, and when I got pregnant 2 years into the marriage and gave birth to twins, male 17 and female 17, he still acted like a father to Sarah. She was even included in my husband's family reunions and the cousin group photo shoot that my in-laws organise every Christmas. Things took a bit of a turn when Sarah turned 18. She started calling him by his first name, and both Robert and I were taken back with the change of attitude. I asked Robert what was that about, but he only shrugged, not knowing the reason too. I thought things would go back to normal, but she has been consistently calling him by his first name, so I asked her if we could talk. Robert asked if he could join, which Sarah agreed. To make it short, my daughter overheard my husband talking about a Father's Day trip to his friend who owns a hostel. His friend asked him if he forgot to include Sarah since my husband only asked him to prepare 3 bedrooms. My husband replied that he planned this trip for his real children only. It wouldn't make sense if Sarah was in the trip since he wasn't her real father. This made Sarah feel betrayed and hurt because she saw him as her real dad, even if she did know that he was her stepdad. My husband tried to explain to her that though he loves her as a father, his love for the twins were different since they were his real children. I wanted to just shut him up because he was overusing the word real, but Sarah told us to leave. What made that day even more depressing was that this day was her last week with us before she leaves the country for college. Since then, every time she comes home, Sarah acts like nothing happened but continues to call Robert by his first name. Robert didn't want to add fuel to the fire and just tolerated it. And now, a few years since then, my daughter announced her engagement to her longtime boyfriend. We were very happy for her as they've been dating since they were still college freshmen. 2 weeks before the wedding, we wondered who was going to walk Sarah down the aisle. I assumed it would be Robert since I thought that we'd moved past that incident. But no, my daughter scoffed at me when I told her about Robert walking her down the aisle. She said, I thought it was obvious that Uncle Greg, my late husband's brother, would be the one to do that. Besides, I'm not his real daughter. It wouldn't make sense if he walked me down the aisle. I didn't talk back. I instead apologized for my ignorance and I told her that I'll speak to Robert about it since he also assumed that he'd be the one to walk her down the aisle. When I told him what Sarah said, he was pissed off, but I politely reminded him of the incident years ago, which made him even more upset. He said that was a long time ago and that Sarah should move on. I, who was offended for my daughter, told him that he shouldn't be upset since he doesn't see her as his real child anyway. He then got teary-eyed and told me to not speak to him. He still attended Sarah's wedding but looked visibly down. We still aren't on good terms and we've been pretending in front of relatives. My daughter doesn't know about this and I want to keep it that way, but nevertheless, it's been a week since my daughter's wedding and Robert is still upset. He only talks to me about the twins and household stuff, but beyond that, he keeps everything to himself. I feel really bad and I think he's acting this way because of me. So with that being said, am I the a-hole? No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. You're completely right. That's what Robert said to Sarah. He said it himself and it doesn't matter that it was a long time ago. What's time gonna change about that? Like, just because it was a long time ago doesn't make it any different. He still doesn't view her as his real daughter. Yeah, 1,000,000% this comment. Not the a-hole. She saw him as her real father, but he didn't see her as his real daughter. He can't pick and choose when she's his daughter and when she isn't. Yeah, I don't understand him why he's upset at you, OP. You only said what he said. The comment under that says Robert brought this on himself. He acted as her father from the time that she was 2 years old, so he is the only father she's ever been aware of. Yet he called her not his real child and was careless and cruel enough to do that where she overheard him. Of course, the consequence of that mean attitude is that she doesn't consider him to be her dad. He created the situation. Now he's continuing to be immature and cruel by punishing you for stating the reality of the situation. I think you need to talk to him, and because of his immature attitude, you should probably do it in the presence of a mediator, like a family therapist if you can afford. If you can't afford it, I'd show him this. He will hurt his relationship with you if he doesn't man up and take responsibility. He could have been doing his best to repair the damage his cruel comment made, but didn't bother. So of course Sarah assumes that nothing's different. He's not the wronged person here. She is. Yeah, and nothing's different because nothing is different. He's just sulking about it instead of making it better. No, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. The top comment says, not the a-hole. How would he feel if you said that he wasn't your real husband since your first spouse passed away? He's definitely the a-hole here, OP. I feel bad for you and your daughter. There's actually a comment here that says, hi guys, I'm Sarah. This is not my Reddit account, it's my cousin's biological father's side. I apologize for any grammar mistakes and spelling errors. My cousin sent me this post while my husband and I were packing some stuff for our honeymoon earlier, and she thought it was my mum. My cousin is one of my go-to people, so she knows every single drama in my life. We're really tight. I was skeptical at first since I never would have thought of my mum using Reddit. It's too random. Until I read the overheard part of the post, it just brought back very good memories, haha. On top of that, I noticed the fake names used are based on the first letter of our real names. It does give me the confirmation that it is my mum. I just want to say that I don't appreciate that some of you are calling my mum an a-hole, but I also don't think it's your fault since mum left out a lot of details. After I left for college in the States, a lot of things happened. My cousin, the owner of this account, was the one filling me up with updates. So my mum and Robert had a huge fight regarding me, plus Robert always came home late and drunk from the cockpit. The twins, well, they're shielded from the drama because they're children. They kind of separated for like a year. My mum went to live with her parents. I was always in contact with mum and she always asked about my whereabouts. You know, normal mum stuff. She also kind of filled me in about her separation from Robert. I actually felt guilty because I knew it was because of me. Their biggest fight was when Uncle Greg, I'll be using the fake names that my mum used to not add confusion, confronted Robert about the incident because when I arrived at my university dorm, I called him sobbing and told him everything. Uncle Greg is the typical cool single uncle and has always been protective of us cousins. So when he learned about it, he went on full Papa Bear mode for me. Robert was kind of mad that he was getting into our business. Mum told Robert that Uncle Greg, actually my cousins and I call him Dada because he really is like our second parent, also has a say in this since he is family, but Robert wasn't happy about it. So yeah, that insinuated a big argument that almost led to Robert and Uncle Greg having a fist fight. They were already throwing unkind words to each other and everybody was just so emotional. When I learned about what happened, like I mentioned, I felt guilty and bad, so I sent Robert an email since he doesn't use Messenger. In the email, I told him that he should apologize to mum and make things right for the twins. I didn't receive any response from him, but eventually him and mum made up after a year. I was quite happy because I didn't want to ruin my mum's marriage. I love my mum so much and I'd do anything for her. You might be wondering why my mum didn't initiate divorce. Well, first of all, divorce is still illegal in my country. Second, annulment is extremely expensive, and even if we were kind of well off, my mum's a physical therapist and a teacher at a university, while Robert used to be a public accountant up until I was 16 and owns a commercial space. Their pockets would have hurt and annulment takes a lot of time to process. Today, I reached out to them and I told them that I wanted a proper conversation because this has been long overdue. I think we all need some closure. I do want to note that I have moved on, but forgive? I don't think so. It pisses me off that Robert thinks I can just move on and forgive and forget. It's hard to think that this was the man I used to call Papa. What's even more sad is that I still see him as my Papa. The pain I felt that day and when I started calling him by his first name. I even wanted to major in accountancy because of him. He was my role model. There were so many moments where I wanted to go back to that day and pretend I didn't hear it and let it go. Then maybe I'd still call him Papa, but I would be an idiot for thinking that because no matter what, the damage has already been done. So yeah, I'm contemplating if I would update you guys on our talk tomorrow. I have texted my mum not to look over the comments here because some of you are just brutal. Sorry, I just don't want my mum to feel bad. P.S. I want to add that both my mum and Robert paid for my college tuition. I didn't get any loans or anything. Student loans are uncommon in our country. Parents are always the ones paying. I'm actually grateful that Robert helped to pay, but that still doesn't remove the pain. My husband's been really patient and supportive. A little trivia, we were classmates in high school. I was the talkative girl in class, you know, the social butterfly, and he was one of those goofballs, and we actually fought a lot back then, and we did eventually develop feelings for each other during our freshman year. We were surprised that we went to the university. We were both catching up on each other's lives, and yeah, the rest was history. Yeah, the comment under that, I want to say that you've handled everything insanely well. Your stepfather is a really crappy dude, and I'm so glad that he was only a guest at your wedding, because that's all he is, a guest in your life. He isn't family, and he's a pretty crappy person for what he said about you. I'm glad you have your mum and your uncle and your cousins in your life. Your mum can do way better. The next one that we're going to read is on the relationship subreddit. I, 27 female, found out that my husband, 28 male, has been hiding a female co-worker for over 6 months. Backstory, this is kind of a long story, but I'm feeling so confused and so lost. I'm 27 and my husband is 28. We've been married for almost 2 years, but I've known him for 11. Our relationship has always been a little bit rocky, but it definitely seemed to get worse after I got pregnant and had our son. He's 1 now. My husband's been working at his job for a year now, give or take. He's a mechanic. Here's where the story comes in. My 1-year-old got a hold of his eye drops that we've been using and put them in his mouth. I was unsure if any of the eye drops got into his mouth or if he ingested any, so I immediately called poison control, freaking out. After the call, I texted my husband saying that I was about to have a panic attack, but I was scared to tell him why. I was scared that he'd be mad at me for my toddler getting into the eye drops. My husband immediately texts back and says, "I'm not cheating on you. She's just a co-worker that gets me weed." I'm of course confused and I'm wondering what he's fessing up about, so I press more into him and everything unraveled. He confesses to me that he's become friends with his co-worker who's a woman and that she gets him weed and he buys her lunch and snacks sometimes. He says the only time they text is if it's about weed or work-related issues, but he told me he's been deleting all of their texts for over 6 months now, but he's not hiding anything. I'm immediately suspicious of him because if there was nothing to hide, he wouldn't have to delete any messages. So we keep talking and he says that she's just a friend, he's not interested in her, and he's not attracted to her, but then tells me that he didn't want to tell me about her because he knew that I'd be insecure. Because she's pretty and his type, he says that they slowly became friends over the past several months and that she knows about me and our child. He kept on telling me that he's not cheating on me, but he knows that he shouldn't have hit her or the text for over 6 months. He kept on telling me to text her and get her side of the story. I immediately said no, but then I kept on ruminating on it. So I did text her and I asked if she had any screenshots of their text that she could share with me. She called me and said that she's also deleted all the messages with my husband because she doesn't like clutter on her phone and frequently deletes messages. She said that I've got nothing to worry about. So I guess I'm wondering, do you think both of them are lying about nothing going on? Does this count as emotional cheating? I'm feeling so confused and hurt and also stupid. Update, my husband and I hashed it out this evening. He confessed that he's been having an emotional affair and that it has been more than weed and getting her lunch. He said that they've talked about our marriage issues. He's told her things about me and vice versa, where she talked about relationship problems to him. She's not dating anybody at the moment though. He said that they've talked about animals and hobbies and interests and TV shows. He said they have similar personalities and a lot in common. He said that he thinks she's pretty but he's not attracted to her and isn't interested. Said that he's just been enjoying the attention, her stroking his ego and the validation that he's gotten. He told me that he had no plans of telling me. So this either would have went on for much longer or it would have went on until he got another job. I told him that we're done and there's no coming back from this. I told him that when I'm able to, I'm divorcing him, and he understood. Thank you all for commenting and telling me the obvious. I was hoping that maybe I was wrong. Delusion is one hell of a drug. Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry, OP. Yeah, this comment, the fact that you feel scared about his reaction to the eye drops thing, red flag. The fact that he hid the text for half a year on its own, just not being honest, red flag. The fact that he might absolutely be cheating emotionally, if not more, red flag. Yeah, and he was. Oh, that's so bad. And yeah, that bit about the being scared to tell him about the eye drops, the second I read that too, I felt like it was definitely a red flag. Like, I don't feel like you should have to be scared that your partner's going to be angry. Yeah, and this comment too, unless they delete every single text they receive from anybody, it's BS. You know it, we know it, even your cheating husband and the home wrecker know it. Yeah, that's so sad. All the best, OP. The next one that we're going to read is called, Am I the a-hole for going to the police immediately when I found out that my parents took out debt in my name? My parents took out credit cards and loans in my name. It was fine when they were paying the bills, but they got behind. I don't have a key to the mailbox, so I never saw the bills or anything. I just finished my 3rd year of university and I was going to move out. That would require me to get a credit check and stuff. My parents freaked out and they forbid me from moving out. They said it was stupid that I'd waste money on moving out when I could save money living at home. They don't like my boyfriend, so I thought that was their issue, but no, I was wrong. Long story short, I'm about 60 grand in debt because of them. I can't afford to pay that off. I told them they needed to clear the debt immediately and change the house rules so my boyfriend could spend the night. They said that they didn't have the money to pay the debt and that I could not strong arm them into changing the rules of their house. I called my auntie and I asked her if I could please come stay with her for a bit. She let me and she asked a lot of questions. Then she showed me a dozen Reddit posts about parents screwing up their kids' future and kids allowing it. I went to the police and reported it. My parents got arrested and charged. They're furious with me. I know they didn't spend the money on me. I don't know what they did spend it on. I don't care. I feel bad for them, but I'm not going to let them mess up my future. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. That's messed up and super illegal. The top comment, not the a-hole. It was fine when they were paying the bills. No, it wasn't. It's identity fraud and it's illegal. Put a freeze on your credit and monitor your reports from now on. Tell them that you're furious with them as well. And OP said, I meant that I didn't know about it, not that that what they did was okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Tell them that you're furious at them, OP. Actions have consequences, you know? And what, they're completely fine with messing up your financial future? Nah, that's not okay, and you're not the a-hole, OP. And that's enough for today. That was such a wild episode. I do have something wholesome to show you guys before I go, just to end it on a good note. My dad's afraid to fly, so when I was 5 years old, I made him a doll to hold on the plane. Mum just sent me this picture. He's packed to come and visit me. The doll is 43 years old. Oh, that's so cute. Wow, that's so beautiful. I didn't expect that to be so cute. Still taking it to make the plane trip better. Yeah, the top comment. I absolutely wanted to cry today. Thank you. That's adorable. So adorable, and such a good place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below, and also like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to MJSTSLKER. On a wholesome note, this is day 97 of being sober of alcohol. Oh, well, congratulations. That's so awesome. Good on you for doing that. That's so good. I hope you're super proud of yourself. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say, because I say it every single day. Bye!